together with you. Outside the snow is falling and friends are...
Hello everyone and welcome to the December edition of the Crazed Fanboy Roundtable. The Crazed Fanboy Roundtable is a fairly new series on crazedfanboy.com where a few of us get together and talk about fan-related topics in an open and casual forum like you're seeing here. This month we're going to talk about Christmas, what Christmas meant to us, Christmas TV specials, Christmas music, and Christmas generally. My earliest memory of anything on television about Christmas that stuck with me was probably a Charlie Brown Christmas, but there's probably the odd ones before that, talk shows and other series that would have special Christmas episodes that I've learned later are filmed during the summer, and they're not even close to their studios during Christmas. But Charlie Brown Christmas was probably the first institutionalized Christmas special in baby boomer generation on that really stood the test of time and sort of set the pattern for Christmas specials and holiday specials thereafter. Chris?
Well, for me, I mean, Christmas is a time when you're a kid and you get a bunch of cool toys. Mm-hmm. And to me, during the 70s and early 80s, it was Star Wars, anything from the X-Wing to the Millennium Falcon I remember getting for Christmas. But also, like for you guys, you guys grew up in Florida, mm-hmm. and I grew up in New York, where you guys didn't have a traditional Christmas, in my opinion. Well, I had snow.
Well, let me take this one.
Okay.
I suppose Florida has some advantages, but one of the worst is we don't have seasons. So
yeah.
Christmas never feels like Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So it's beyond bizarre seeing snowman decorations when it's like fucking 90 degrees out.
Yeah, and people driving in Corvette or
but,
convertibles.
I mean, right, there have been years where it does get cold enough, feels like Christmas, but very rarely. Last year it did, at least.
Yeah. But without the snow, the trappings of the season for a Floridian are the same from year to year. You grew up without snow, Christmas is Christmas. It's that you don't have a comparison of snow versus not so because you never knew snow. So Christmas is where the stores start playing holiday music
and decorations.
And decorations come out downtown and at home. And it's a really, growing up was a wonderful time of year. All the family gets together. You gather around the tree. They have the lights. The lights are just beautiful. The big old lights they used to have on Christmas trees, not these little bullshit LED things they have now.
You had the big bulbs.
And it had the big bulbs, the big incandescent bulbs. That was a tree. That would light up half the house. You push it in and then boom. You got the wonderful presents, and we'll get into that in a minute.
You guys probably had the aluminum trees, right?
Yeah.
No, we started with natural and probably went to the artificial one later. But I remember we actually did have natural ones until about the mid-'60s.
Now, before I forget, my aunt said there used to be a thing you drive down Bayshore and they had these huge, like...
Absolutely, greeting cards, oversized greeting cards. And that went way up into the 60s, almost to 1970.
What exactly was it?
It was greeting cards. They set up along Bayshore starting after, it was well after Howard.
And how tall were they? Big?
How tall is his glass doors? They're about 7 feet.
Yeah.
So about 7 feet at least, at a minimum. And they were fold out, and they'd have like a simple cover on them, and even some writing on the inside, and that would go all the way to downtown. And then I guess it was a maintenance hassle, and they didn't stick with it. That's a good point.
You guys up there have anything particular like that?
I mean, we had. I remember the malls were always decorated. We never had anything like any parades or any displays like that outside. But I remember malls were always decorated. There was always like a mall Santa that was there. Every. I mean, pretty much that. Like once November came, it was after Thanksgiving. Snow started to fall. It felt like Christmas. There was Christmas music on the radio. There was, decoration. Every house was like decorated with the lights. There was, to me, like, it was epitome of Christmas. There was snow, cold, especially always on Christmas. It seemed like because that was like kind of wasn't as cold as it was in January and February, but it was just getting to the winter season was peaking and snow started to fall like around Christmas, and it was just perfect as a kid. So we used to get like tons and tons of snow, and but other memories were, like I said, getting having that day. I just remember Christmas morning getting up and there'd be presents under the tree. I think early on, like when I didn't believe in Santa as far, like I think when I was like 7.
Didn't believe in Santa. Where are you going with that?
No. No, I mean,
I'm sitting right here, son.
That's right. You're saying.
I'm sitting right here.
Are
Are
you
you
the
saying
real
I'm not
Santa?
here?
Are you the real?
Make sure he's around.
Yeah.
Fine, I'm not real.
You're not real.
Go ahead, go
You're
ahead.
not real.
Just go
Neither
ahead.
is Ace
I'm
Commander.
fine. I'm fine. Go ahead.
I have a Red Rider maybe again.
Yeah. I think I got wise around maybe like 7. Then I knew so Santa's my mom getting me gifts.
I don't know how old I was when I didn't really believe in Santa, but I think I was still somewhat like at least 5 or 6. I still believed, and I'd like looking outside at my grandma's house to see if he was coming.
Yeah.
You know, I think I hear him on the roof. Stupid stuff like
Well,
that.
ignoring the skepticism of my colleagues right now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a family show with kids watching. The issue
What
of
kids
Santa,
are watching our show?
They don't need to be.
Kids are watching this show. The jury is still out on Santa. He may still be there. I look for him every year.
This show
myself.
is rated TVMA. So
Now,
for language and we talk about schlock stuff.
Now, all right, my colleagues did not. I take it as far as television goes. I touched on the Charlie Brown Christmas.
The one I remember the most was the Rudolph.
Rudolph,
Like the
you know
stop
what?
animation.
The creepy.
ones.
You know what?
Yeah, the creepy. Yeah, I know you're
I
talking.
have to take it
Yeah.
back. I have to take it back. I said my earliest memory was Charlie Brown Christmas. Actually, it's the Rankin Bass Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which premiered 2 years earlier, and I definitely saw that. That was stop-motion animation by Rankin Bass. The Island of Misfit Toys and the Bumble and
There was a Frosty the Snowman one, and
Frosty the Snowman with Jackie Vernon as Frosty, and
yeah, there was a cartoon Frosty Snowman
Yeah.
that played every year also.
that's one I just said. Yeah, with Jackie Vernon. Happy birthday!
Yeah.
That one. That was Jackie Vernon. And one of the last appearances, of the guy with the twirly mustache. It was that character actually didn't live too much longer after that. Favorite toys. The 60s were an amazing time for toys. It's a great time to be alive. I took it for granted at the time. I definitely remember my first Etch-a-Sketch, my first G.I. Joe. The space capsule, I actually had that. The Crusader 101 large limousine car you drive with wire and a lever very early. This was before remote control cars. Johnny 7, machine gun, a military gun with like 7 weapons all in one. And anything that flew, anything that was a gimmick. I wasn't so much into games. My brother was into games. But anything that was a gadget, anything that had to do with space flight, anything like that, that was, and a lot of art supplies. I did a lot of growing as an artist at the time. What were some of you guys' favorite toys you got?
I mean, for me, like I said before, Star Wars, anything, everything that. I think later on, as I got a little bit older, I remember getting an Atari in 1983, which that was cool.
Pong or whatever?
No, it was Combat, Pac-Man. I remember having...
Pong goes back to the 70s,
Asteroids.
that's right, yeah.
And I remember even having an E.T. game, the Raiders of the Lost Ark game.
Oh, not the E.T. game.
Which was bad. And there was a Haunted House one. There was a variety. Donkey Kong, Frogger. I mean, all the classics.
Frogger.
Cubert.
Those are the things I played in the
did.
arcade in the 80s, man.
I did get a Nintendo and stuff later. I never had my dad had an Atari. I never had an Atari. I was a little too young, I guess. But I did get a Nintendo. But I don't know. I remember getting a bunch of He-Man toys, Transformers. I got Castle Grayskull, the He-Man thing. That was I remember particularly excited about that, and I got that. A lot of G.I. Joe stuff, and then later on, books and stuff like that. Now, what about movies? I know I always watch movies. I pretty much watch because I used to collect every Christmas Carol movie ever made, pretty much. Until the later ones were not very interesting to me. I even have a silent one, and I think you all the March of the
Wooden Soldiers or the Babes in Toyland.
Christmas Story always Bob Clark's Christmas Story.
That's what
Santa
I
Claus
think
versus
of.
the Martians.
Yeah.
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
If you go to horror films, Christmas horror
Black
films
Christmas,
like
I
Black
would
Christmas,
Absolutely.
Silent Night, Deadly Night, and even the story in Tales from the Crypt, the 1972 with Joan Collins.
All Through the House.
All Through the House, yeah.
And sometimes Nightmare Before Christmas will pop that in.
And then another Christmas special. This came out when I was a little bit older, when I was like 16, but it still is a classic Christmas special. It was The Simpsons Christmas.
I don't remember that.
And that was the Simpsons Christmas, 1989 Christmas.
Who remembers that, ladies? I remember that,
That was-
Treehouse of Horror
That's
every
one I
year.
remember, yeah.
But the '89 Christmas, this is rare. Go
No,
ahead.
this was the very first. Technically, this was the very first Simpsons episode.
Oh, because
after Tracy Ullman, when they had skits on Tracy Ullman, this was the official first episode.
Yeah, I vaguely remember.
of the first season, yeah, I do remember
And
that.
then in January of 1990, that's when the season actually started.
Mhm.
But this was big. That's when Bart was singing Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, Robin Laid an Egg,
Yeah.
and all that. It was, and they actually didn't do another Christmas special, like another themed Christmas episode for years, and they always used to show this one. I know, like Treehouse, they're more known for the Halloween Treehouse of Horror because they did that they had a new one every year, every Halloween. But the Christmas one, they kept on showing it every year for at least 5 years.
Mm-hmm. So Christmas remains a very special time of year for fans and Americans alike and the world over. And regardless of what anyone says, someone that looks a lot like me will be in a sleigh driven by eight or nine. How many are there? Eight reindeer?
8 reindeer, yeah.
Eight reindeer.
And they might even have an axe.
And yeah, watch it. Once it's the right Santa you let into your chili, ladies and gentlemen. And so yeah, watch for him and the jingle bells out there in the night. And from all of us here at CrazedFanboy.com, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. See you next
Merry
year,
Christmas.
everyone.